Okay, so you might be focused on something behind me, but what are you really focused on? Are you focused on this? Because what you should be focused on is what I'm standing on. This is one of my rental properties, and this rental property pays for this, and it pays for a bunch of other stuff that's just luxury. You need to have your assets pay for your luxuries. And really, at the end of the day, it's all about building up wealth for future generations. Isn't that right, little buddy? Yeah, that's right. Start building generational wealth today. Visit topfundmanager.com. Welcome to the Money Play,
where we give you the game so you can run the play. My name is Maya Sly.
My name is Justin Giles.
And we have one of the most amazing guests.
Yes, we do.
Coming to the table today. We have coined him the president of podcasting, Mr. David Shands. David! I'm so glad you could make it.
My brother.
Oh, yummers.
Happy to be here.
I'm so excited.
Glad to have you. Glad to have you.
Oh, no
You
doubt.
have no idea how thrilled I am to have you here today.
Not half as thrilled as I am.
Oh,
That is beautiful.
not half as thrilled. Are you proud?
Absolutely.
Do you know you're responsible for this?
Yeah, but your podcast looks way better than mine.
No, no, no.
It does. We got
Bro,
regular
different
cameras.
flavors,
Y'all got
different
production.
flavors.
Yeah.
We got 2 lights like this. Y'all got 10 of these joints. This is a production. This is a show. This is TV ready.
Well,
I didn't teach you this. I said,
No.
have a voice, have a
you got to
message,
play.
talk to people. Y'all just took it to a whole nother
you
level.
gave us the game, we ran the play.
Exactly.
You gave us the game, and we were like, oh, okay, do this, do that. But no, no, no. I couldn't be more thrilled to be here because when you had me on your podcast last year, the number of emails, DMs, and clients I booked from just being on your podcast, I was just like, wait, what? Like, how did you hear about me? And do you know the week that episode dropped is the week that I think you went on like EYL channel, like once you went on a different network? And it was so weird. It was like, all these views, all of these people so quickly. And I was like, wait, what just happened here? But I'm telling you, it was life-changing for me, for my coaching business, because I do, I take only 10 clients a month, and I do maybe 4 or 5 speaking engagements a year. In the middle of a pandemic, you and I booked, 25 people from out of state in 5 days. Like only 5 days. 5 days. So I thank you for what you do and pour into people, but I want the audience to know. This is our first question always.
Do it.
Who is David Shands?
I am an entrepreneur. I am a podcaster. I am the people bringer together.
I like that.
Definitely is.
People bring it together.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah,
So my objective is bringing people together, and not me being the expert or the person teaching the people that are together, but I think there's just power when people get together.
Absolutely.
They network with themselves and they teach each other. So
Right.
that'd be my whole objective. So when you get on the podcast, and we get you on the podcast show, for other people to get to know who you are and you service
Right.
those people, and I'm happy when. So that's why you're saying when it happened, you got more coaching clients and all that kind of stuff. Mission accomplished.
Yeah, so
And
that's
the
what I
thing
love.
is too, like, just chiming in on what he was saying, for all you guys that are watching this gentleman is being super, super modest. Like literally, he puts people on. When I say puts people on, not only is he putting his audience on game, because he puts his audience on crazy game,
I learn something every time.
but also too, he's putting the people on his show on. So what's happening is that these people are literally blowing up, bro, because of you.
Because of your platform. You don't see it that way? I told you, you don't remember, I
Bro.
text you when you interviewed Grant Cardone, I said, you are in your zone and you're about to go to a whole nother level. I said, you're gonna go to a whole nother level. I saw it. It's like witnessing something before your eyes, because what we do next is you tell the audience your entrepreneurial journey, because I don't think a lot of people know that. Like they see you as the president of podcasting now. But let's talk about it.
What made you the David Shands? Like what?
A lot, man, a lot. I've always been entrepreneurial minded. Like, how do I get something done? How do I get what I want? Like, even if you have a job, I think it's important to think like an entrepreneur. Even if you don't want to be an entrepreneur, you got to think entrepreneurially. Like,
Right.
how can I get that promotion? How can I get to the next level? You just identify what you want and you figure out how to get it done. So I want to get some shoes. My mom and dad, they're not buying it for me. So how do I get this done? It takes money. Well, how do I get money? How much money do I need? How do I get that amount of money? right? So it's, as a kid, obviously like everybody else, selling candy, raking leaves, shoveling snow in New Jersey. I worked at the Cheesecake Factory for 6 years, but what was interesting, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I worked at Cheesecake Factory for 6 years. Before that, I worked at Olive Garden. Before that, I worked at Circuit
So
City.
service, heavy service.
So you got to know people through service.
That's why you have
for
such a
sure.
good personality. Now it's starting to make sense. Like,
You get more tips when you get better service.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
And I realized that when you are interested in people, they give you more tips.
Yeah.
Like if you get to know, outside of what do you want to eat and what do you want to drink and all that kind of stuff, but if you really get to know how they're doing today or how they got there, or someone tells me, yo, first off, why are you here in the middle of the day when everybody's at work and it doesn't look like you're on lunch break?
Right.
What do you do?
right.
And that's
And that was been my question.
That's a
What
great
do you
question.
do? And just, I guess my interview skills started there, I suppose.
Isn't that interesting how it's always a full circle moment? It's like you don't realize in that moment that this job is preparing you for something greater if you can really look at it for what it is. I think this generation of everybody wants to be an entrepreneur, but doesn't nobody want that heat that comes with all of that responsibility. And you used your job in service to be in service in a different way. And look at how many people you serve now.
But that's how I can almost pinpoint the day when I started leaving my job. Now it was probably a 3.5-year journey, but when I stopped complaining about the job, and I was talking about it on my podcast, that I was doing some research, and a job will not hire you unless they can make 4 times more than they're paying you.
Right. And that's what most people don't know.
For sure. So a job's only going to give you $50,000 if you could bring them $200,000.
Correct.
So I realized that my job was using me to make money. So if I'm gonna make $40,000, the job they're already calculating, I'll pay him $40,000 if he could bring me back 120 or 160, right? So I knew my job was using me, and then I had to realize that I had to figure out how I'm gonna use my job back.
Right.
Yeah.
You're not just gonna use me and I don't use you back.
Yeah.
So it gave me a platform to work on my presentation skills. I knew I would be talking to the world. I just
knew
it.
that.
I
Right.
knew
that.
I wanted to impact people. But I had a habit of like slurring my speech. So I go to the table and I say, hey, my name is David. The fish of the day is salmon and mahi. Mahi comes with broccoli and mashed potatoes.
Right.
But I would say fish of the day instead of fish of the day. Now it's really small, right? That doesn't move a
Probably
needle,
catchy.
right? But for me, I got a chance to pronunciate my words more, or enunciate. Is it
Enunciate.
Enunciate. E or I used to do that, right? So I got a chance to get better at saying fish of the day instead of other day. And if you get a drink, my objective is to sell you another drink, not so you can get drunk, not even necessarily for the tip, but if I couldn't get you to buy another drink, it's gonna be really hard for me to get you to buy a t-shirt, which was my business. So if I can't get you to buy a $10 drink, how am I gonna get you to buy a $25 t-shirt? So I'm using my job to acquire all these skills. And the day I realized that that's what I would have to do, I started to enjoy my job instead of complaining. And when I started to enjoy my job, I started making more money because I'm happier to be there and I'm involved.
So that's a play.
Yeah.
That's a play. So from a game standpoint, you said, you recognize yourself. It was like a light bulb moment. Okay, I'm here. I'm gonna use this. This is the game. I'm gonna make my money here. But the play is, I'm going to better myself in this engagement because I have a free audience.
100%.
And how did you do that? Was it just a light bulb moment, or you just said, hey, I'm gonna do it?
And now also too, just to make sure that the audience picked up on that, because I don't think everybody picked up on that. You said if you didn't sell them a drink, then you wouldn't be able to sell them a T-shirt. Now let's talk about that, because
that's the next
is
thing.
that the play you were doing? You were actually selling T-shirts.
100%.
Okay.
Somehow I got into the right environment where they started talking about personal development. And I just knew I had to be better. And I don't know who, it might have been, I was reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and I think maybe Robert Kiyosaki said get a sales job. But I was never, ever good at sales, right? And then at the Cheesecake Factory, it's not a sales job, it's a service job.
Right.
So we think. But now I get an opportunity to sell some stuff. Why wouldn't you add shrimp to that pasta, right? When you say no, that's not the end of the conversation.
Right.
I got to find out, why are you saying no? There's a reason you're saying no.
Are you allergic? Is the cost? Like,
Exactly.
what is it?
At the end, we have to do this cheesecake presentation where we suggest a few cheesecakes. And if you come to the Cheesecake Factory and don't get a cheesecake, there's something wrong with that picture in my mind, and that's what I'm portraying to them. So I turned the service job into a sales job just to get better because I knew I just wasn't good at sales. I wasn't comfortable asking people for money.
Right.
So.
And I think a lot of people have that challenge. I mean, you know this, we are in sales, but I don't have a problem asking for the money. I don't have a problem asking for the deal. And when I'm coaching people and they're like, I don't want to ask, I'm like, well, a closed mouth is not going to get fed. So you found a way to do it in another way to get comfortable with it. So I think that's important for the audience to know, is that there's more than one way to do anything.
Outside of sales, let me tell you this, like getting people to like me or patience with people. So there was a manager that nobody likes. I didn't like her. We had like a mutual disrespect for each other. Right?
Oh, mutual disrespect.
Yeah, for sure. I wasn't disrespectful
He's
enough.
such a nice guy, so that's kind of weird.
So she must have been
She was
a
the
pistol.
problem.
Oh,
She was a pistol.
But nobody. Hindsight, I'm looking like that's the person that you want on your team, because if everybody likes your manager, things aren't going to get done.
Right.
So I would come in and, like, you know how you see that one manager, I don't know if you ever had a job like that. You go see that one manager, if they're working that day, you're automatically
your day's off.
ruining your day. So I got into this next mindset. I'm like, yo, how can I? So one day I got upset. She said something wild to me, and I left, and I was like really upset for the rest of the night. I'm talking about at the crib.
Like threw your day off.
Talking to my friends about my job at the Cheesecake.
I know how it is.
Taking it home.
And then I started to think before I went to bed, I am upset, and this ruined my day, but she's not even thinking about me.
She hasn't thought
She's at
anything
home
about
with her
you.
family, chilling. I'm like, yo, she controls me right now. So the next day, I go in and I say, hey, good morning.
To
now,
her.
she knows that I'm being condescending.
You're right.
Because we don't talk like that. So I said, hey, good morning. And she looked at me like, nothing, right?
Right. She didn't even respond?
No, of course not. That's how we do, because she would say hey to me, I won't respond.
Oh,
Right?
okay.
Okay, gotcha.
But the moral of the story is, I'm going in, and my objective is to not let her control me. So I'm being nice to someone who, like the Bible says, to love those who despitefully use you, and that's really, really hard to live by.
It is.
But if I can get to a point where someone else doesn't control me, and I can be nice to someone who hates me anyway, one, I'm being a good Christian.
Yeah, you've been
Two,
a good Christian.
you're not ruining my day anymore.
Yeah.
So now I have more patience with my customers, my clients, my team. I have more patience because I was able to practice patience with the person I didn't like. And eventually, after a few weeks, I come in, say good morning. She says, hey, good morning, David. What happened was she started giving me better sections, better shifts. If I need a day off, she'll grant it to me, because I knew I can get what I want by not letting my emotions control me and just playing the game.
Right.
These are skills that I worked at that I got
That
from
you
the Cheesecake
learned
Factory.
at the
It's
Cheesecake
crazy.
Factory.
That's the play.
Yeah.
If you have a job, that is the play.
So I think one thing that you said that is super important is that you got a lot of viewers out there that are in the service industry.
Right.
And brother, like you doing what you're doing and how you put on people and just the level of success that you've attained from coming from this, you said what, it was Cheesecake Factory and Applebee's?
Olive Garden.
Olive Garden,
Yeah.
Apple,
All,
right.
all the C-level restaurants.
So all that and just literally.
Yo, hold on. First
Yeah, go
off, the
ahead,
Cheesecake Factory wasn't sea-level at
But I
that
know what I'm
time.
saying
Okay?
from
You
a
know what I
price
mean?
point. But I'm saying from a price point standpoint, this isn't Ruth Chris where you're saying I'm going to work
for
on my
sure.
service, because that's a really big thing. Think about it. People think it's just here.
Right.
It's like no. I worked at the Holiday Inn. I gave great service at the Holiday Inn because guess what I got? Amazing tips.
But let me tell you,
No matter where you are.
in my mind, I thought Olive Garden was like the step up because I was at Applebee's.
Oh,
When that
yeah,
ass
yeah.
I'm like, yo, I'm lit out here.
Unlimited super
spot.
salad.
Cheesecake Factory.
Oh, yeah. Well,
wow.
Cheesecake Factory then was the Houstons and the, whatever's
for
up
sure.
today. That was like, if he took you to Cheesecake Factory, he was about to spend a check on you. Like, you're going to have a $70 meal.
Cheesecake Factory was a spot. So I guess my thing is that coming from this background, what was the first play that just got you in the game where you're like, you know what, I'm out? Like, what was that first play?
For the T-shirts, because you said you were selling the T-shirts. What was that play from there?
My $100 off days. So I won't go through the whole story, but a bartender at my job, he was selling weed at the time.
He was selling marijuana?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well,
When it was illegal.
it
But I came
wasn't
in-
legal then.
I came in one day and He was behind the bar. I was like, yo, you off today? He's like, man, I'm getting money regardless. I don't do my off days, right? He said, even if they take me off the schedule, I'm gonna make $100 at least.
Right.
How?
He said, my object.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So
Oh, my bad.
he's like, he said, I'm gonna make $100 at least, B. At least from New York.
Right.
And I was like, yo, that's dope. So, I mean, $100, he said, every off day, my goal is to make $100. I'm like, yo, I can do that because I'm selling these t-shirts.
Right.
The first play, because again, I wasn't really good at sales, but I knew, and at this point, I'm kind of lazy in a sense. I'm not like driven and motivated, but I knew if I didn't have to worry about making money the whole week, and I just had to focus on these 2 off days, and my goal was to a set number. I need to sell these $25 t-shirts and make $100 on each off day. I knocked that out by 12. I'm taking the day off and I'm
Right.
chilling.
You just had a goal.
So I started making $100 on these off days. I'm making $200 a week extra.
Right.
That's $800 a month. That's life-changing money.
Right.
For me at the Cheesecake
Right.
Factory.
For most people.
In 2
For
days a week.
most people.
So what I did was I called my manager because I knew if I could make $200 on 2 off days, if I had a 3rd off day, I could probably make $300 a week.
Right.
So I called my manager and said, yo, take me off the schedule and only put me on 4 days. But one of those 4 days, I work double shifts, so I'm still working 5 shifts.
Right,
But I
right.
need that 3rd off day so I can get to this money again. So
Right.
I'm off 3 days, and I started making $100 on the 3 days, and I'm making $300 a week, $1,200 a month.
So you're just doing direct sales? You just going and just...
I'm going to barbershops.
You're
I'm
just
on
out your car.
Twitter.
You're master peeing it. You're
And
just
now what
out
type,
your
what
trunk.
type of t-shirt is it? Is it like a...
T-shirt. Brand is called Sleep is for Suckers. I still have it. Geared towards entrepreneurship, people that lose sleep on what they love. So I print up these T-shirts, and yeah, as long as I get my 100, I'm done for the day.
Right.
But I kept that process going, and as soon as I started making 300 consistently, I called my manager back like, yo, let me get 4 off days. I work 2 double shifts, so I'm still working the 5 shifts.
Right.
And by the time I quit the job, I wasn't even really working that much.
Yeah, you were kind of basically retiring yourself. You were trying to replace the money.
Yeah, that was the plan.
So what's the most you ever made selling t-shirts on your off day when you started taking it seriously?
A few hundred.
So
200, 300.
That's
something
still
like that.
good money, though.
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
but you still were like, I ain't got to sell to 200 people. I just need to make to 200 and I'm good for the day.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
then the shirt sales I made throughout the week are extra.
Right.
Oh.
My goal was like what my goal is, right? So $100 on the off days. And then I said, I'm not gonna quit my job off of emotion. I'm gonna set a quit number. So once I hit this particular number per month for 4 months in a row, then I'd quit. So let's say the number is $4,000 a month, right? On the side.
Right.
If I make $4,000 in January, $4,000 in February, $4,000 in March, but I make $3,000 in April, I got to start all over because my business is
That's a play.
Yeah.
That's a play because we have all of these people who come to us and you know you're flippers or they say, I'm gonna quit my job, I'm gonna quit my job.
Everyone
After
quit their
one sale, it's like, well, where's your next sale?
Yeah.
So yours was if you make the money consistently, that was your number, right? But if you didn't make the number, you had to start all over again.
all over.
And so how many months, what was the number, 4 months or?
I don't remember exactly what it was because I left in 2012, which is like 10 years ago.
Oh my
But I
God.
remember, and I still got the notebooks
Right.
where I'm writing down how much I make and how much I spend every day. I still got these notebooks of working at how much did I get in tips, how much did I spend in gas, how much did I spend it, on shoes or whatever. And I started calculating what's happening. So there's no way you can grow if you don't know where you're at. So I always
So you
knew
wrote everything down.
everything.
That's how I did my salon book. So you knew what you were making and what you weren't making.
Yeah,
So
for
you need
sure.
to. That's your play right there, and I'm gonna give you that. I'm gonna give you that. I already
Oh, you
told
give me
you.
the play I
I'm
gave
giving.
you. Oh, that's
And
what's up.
I'm gonna give you the play that you need to give to your audience morning meetup. You need to have them on that same program because that's what you did.
100%.
That's all you did. It was very basic. They think, oh, I gotta learn rocket science. No, just get a number.
Yeah, a
And
good month.
But how about
Making that
David?
work, though.
David got his number from somebody else. He's got his $100 from somebody else. You don't know what his bills were. You just said, okay, 100 is number.
But the point is, I didn't have a goal at all. Like,
Oh,
I
I like
I needed something. I need some sort of finish line. Like, if you're running a race, let's say you start a race, like in the beginning is when you have the most energy because you haven't ran yet. So
Right.
if you're running.
Right.
In the middle, you get really, really tired. But you run faster when you see the finish line than when you first started when you have the most energy.
Yeah, because you're trying to
So
get there.
if I see the finish line,
Right.
if I make $75 and I got to sell one more T-shirt, I'm gonna go the extra mile. I'm gonna go a little harder because I got one more to sell.
So
You're going
on
one more
that-
barbershop.
So the finish line, right? Right now, like literally dude, you got social proof, you got the podcast, you got the real estate. So you got a lot of different plays. So my thing is, when it came from the shirts, you started to ascend, you started doing more and more stuff. So then what was the next step after the shirts?
Shirts. It was just shirts and, building out this empire, right? So I had a kiosk in the mall in 2012, really? October 2012.
That was one in Cumberland?
Yeah, in Cumberland.
Okay.
And I opened one upstairs in Cumberland in 2013, so I had 2 of them. 2014, I opened a store in South DeKalb Mall.
That's crazy.
In South DeKalb Mall, I don't got time to tell the whole story,
yeah,
but the a few months later, maybe like 5-6 months later, after I put all this money in the store, DTLR, which is a bigger store, and had been in South DeKalb for 10 years, 20 years, they say, well, we want his spot now.
Oh, wow.
What?
They bogarted you.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Best thing ever happened to me, though.
Wonderful. Isn't that a blessing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best thing ever happened.
It'd be like that sometimes. Like, you'll have these things, and you'll be like, dang, that was a bad thing. The next thing you know, God has something better for you.
Yeah.
But that is absolutely every bad thing that ever happened to me. In the moment, it feels terrible. And I'm sure you all can.
Oh, for sure.
Every 100% of the terrible things that have ever happened to you turned out to be something that's going to turn out to be something good every time. It just doesn't feel good in the moment.
Yeah.
But that's why.
Because you can't see why it's happening, but it's biblical. He'll make your enemy your footstool. Where's DTLR now?
Everything.
Looking real dry.
And they didn't take the store.
And that's real, because there's a lot of people out there, and I literally have to tell people this type of stuff all the time. Yeah. Even people that you guys run across, it's like, yo, don't trip if something bad happens. Literally, it's probably something that's even better for you. Yeah. You just got to just be patient and keep driving and keep going. Yeah, so I'm glad you shared that.
Giving the advice is easier than taking it. Because in the moment, you're just in it, and it's like, this is the worst thing that ever happened. Yeah. But the more bad stuff that happens, if you approach it with the right mindset, you'll start to realize that there's a pattern here, right? I feel this way, or I'm going through this right now, but eventually, I'll get over it. But you can't explain it to people who haven't experienced the success on the other end.
Right. They haven't gotten there yet.
They haven't
gotten there yet. And I think for you, so from 2012 to 2022, we are now. I mean, the trajectory has been phenomenal. I've witnessed it myself, and it's been amazing to see. But from those T-shirts, I want you to break down this play for why you got 2 kiosks in the same mall, why you competed against yourself.
Okay. Whew, man. Okay. Okay. So it's a long story, but I'm gonna keep it short as I can. So one of the worst things that can happen to someone is achieving a certain level of success, because it leads you to believe that 1, you're successful, and 2, that you can be successful in other stuff.
Wow.
So I'm making money with these T-shirts, and then my friend comes across and he tells me about this DTG machine where I can not only print T-shirts, but I can print cups and all kind of stuff, custom, right? Somebody can give me a picture.
On demand.
Absolutely. Somebody give me a picture, and I can put that picture on shot glasses. Oh, really cool. Right then and there. You get the printer, a convection oven, and we do all that in the mall. I'm like, yo, I already got the T-shirts. Right. I'm about to open another kiosk upstairs, and we're gonna do this service. And they actually gave me there was a salon suite that closed, like I think they did nails or something like that, in the mall. And they let me use that office. So it was like a big office in the mall, right? They weren't using it. So that's where we had the big machine and all that kind of stuff. We take orders at the second kiosk. And long story short, I start losing money.
Why?
Because it's a brand new business.
Right.
And it's not just, a good idea isn't a good idea until it works. You might have a good idea, but where's the manpower?
Right.
And that good idea takes energy away from the idea that's working. So the idea that's working loses money while you're trying to get something else going. The worst thing that could have happened to me was I became successful. People tell me I'm successful. And I'm like, oh, I'm an entrepreneur. I could do this business and this business. And it doesn't work that way. So I started losing money on all of them. Long story short, I closed that. I take all those cups and mugs and all that kind of stuff off that kiosk, and I just put more Sleepers for Suckers T-shirts on the upstairs kiosk, and we just keep running, like different designs, same company, and that worked. So,
so if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly. It was just
So how
Over-ambition.
long did you lose money before you realized this isn't, I'm throwing good money after bad?
It was like 3-4 months.
Oh,
Okay, so you didn't run it too long.
He didn't get skipped alive. David was
Right.
like, yeah.
Well, that was smart then. At least you knew.
Yeah,
You're like,
sometimes
okay.
Fail fast.
You got to analyze what's happening in your
Yeah.
business.
Yeah, I don't have to convince you to buy this. No one's buying this at the rate that they're buying these other T-shirts. Yeah, and I've got to have somebody else run the store.
Yeah, you gotta-
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so when we come back, we are going to hear about all of these plays you are running through Social Proof
I have
and
enough
all.
time for all the.
Not all of them. Not all of
As
them.
many as I can.
You're gonna give us 3. We'll give you 3. Just 3 when we come back. When we come back, we have to have him share with you guys. He's at 200. How many episodes now?
200 something. I don't know.
220, I think, is what I counted yesterday. 220 episodes, all entrepreneurs, and the plays he is in right now are. You're big time in it.
look
You're
forward
big
to
time in
hearing
it.
these
You
plays.
rolling in it.
I ain't got all this.
Yeah.
So
y'all got
one day.
You got that presidential rose. You got that presidential rose. We'll talk about that when we get back.
Hi, I'm Catherine Bush, and I'm with Southern First Bank. I've been with Southern First for over 5 years, and one of my biggest passions in life is to help people reach their goal of home ownership, which is why I'm so excited to tell you about our Dream Mortgage program. With up to 100% financing and no private mortgage insurance, it's easy to take your first step towards home sweet home. Give us a call or visit our website, www.southernfirst.com/Catherine, and my team and I are so excited to connect with you and to help you take their first step towards finding the right mortgage for you.
We've got eyes on the suspect. Repeat, suspect has arrived. Over. Suspect has the bag. Repeat, suspect has the bag. There's got to be more than just 60-second brown kits in that bag. We have to catch her this time. Control, be advised, I'm staying on her. Send in backup units. Control, do you copy? Where's my backup? We're about to lose her. The plane's in the air. She's gone. We just lost her again.
Atlanta, Decatur, Stone Mountain, Snellville, and Gwinnett. Tired of paying for overpriced hair you can't reuse and tangles? Pretty Hair on Memorial Drive is inside Walk-In Weaves. We carry 100% virgin body wave, loose wave, deep wave, silky, and kinky, plus closures and frontals. Hair prices start at just $50 and bundle deals are available. We're open Sundays till 5. Purchase hair, have it installed on site. Call today at 470-428-4982.
Welcome back to the Money Play.
Where we give you the game so you can run the play.
All right, listen, so we got to get into the meat, Dave. We got to get into the meat,
Do it,
brother.
man.
Don't hold
All
back.
right.
Do it.
So we talked about the shirt, like, bro, I didn't even know that you was just slinging shirts like that.
Shirt slinger.
So now from shirts, and then we got the podcast. So let's go ahead. So what got you into that?
The podcast was, I didn't start a podcast to start a podcast. I was doing a conference and I just came up with this brilliant idea that if Maya is speaking at the conference, I'm gonna do an interview, put it on YouTube and tell people like, yo, this is an amazing interview. And she's gonna be at the conference. So if you like the interview, you wanna meet her in person, you'll buy a ticket to the conference. That was the whole purpose of the podcast.
Really?
Yeah, that was it.
Crazy.
So if I wasn't doing an event, I wasn't doing interviews.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and then eventually.
The accidental podcaster.
Accidental. Like if you go back to like them first like 9 or 10 episodes, there's not a name for the podcast. I don't have a name.
Wow.
It's like, hey, I got a podcast, y'all. I don't got a name just yet, but I'm gonna interview somebody dope. That's literally how we started, like the first 9, 10 episodes.
Get out of town. I did not realize that's how it started. So if they were there, you'd interview them, and then this
Yeah,
is
then
the
we
show.
just, yeah, I mean, and then I start listening to podcasts, and the moment, long story short, moment I got consistent, that's when things started to happen. That's
Right.
it. If you have a podcast, you become consistent, You continue to talk to your audience continues to grow, and you'll have a successful podcast.
Organically, not paid ads, just organically, people sharing
Nobody,
information.
I didn't make no money till like episode 60 or something.
Really? Yeah. You were just filming, putting out the content, and
I didn't know you could make money from a podcast.
You didn't even know?
I had no idea.
Oh, I'm so glad we took your class.
Oh my God, yo.
So that's another thing.
We got people that's taking my class that make money before they even launch their podcast.
Right.
Because I'm just teaching them how to sell it.
Right.
But I didn't know.
Right.
You had to learn all of this stuff your own.
First dollar. This is the first like light bulb. My friend Neo, shouts out to Neo.
Neo is here.
And my David.
Yeah, love him.
Brilliant.
Awesome guy.
He said, "You're not doing affiliates?" And I said, "What's that?"
What's that?
What is an affiliate? He said, well, if you're interviewing somebody that has a product or a service, you put the link for their product or service in your bio, but it's an affiliate link that tracks how many you sold and you take a percentage.
Right.
I said,
brilliant.
Can you do that?
Is that legal?
Is that a thing? Yo, how do you set it up? What do you do? Where do you go buy affiliates? And I'm like, no. He's like, no, just.
He's like, you already have them. They're right here.
He said, just ask the people who have a course to set up an affiliate link. And I asked the person, they said, okay, great.
Right.
And I made like $10,000 that month off that affiliate. I said,
now, was that your first time actually monetizing?
My first time.
And
but
now,
what
was
a
this?
play, though. What a play.
That is the play.
Oh,
That's
my
crazy.
goodness.
Now, was that like, is that episode 60? That was episode 60 or?
I forgot what episode it was, but I did a lot of episodes
Yeah.
with people who have, so I'm just gonna put it out there. Him 500, that's my guy. But I did his podcast before I understood what affiliates were. And he got a bag out of that.
Right.
He told me later
Right.
he made 6 figures from that podcast.
Right.
Yeah.
And I said, yo, well, give me the link now. He said, it's too late. I said,
Right.
Yeah.
That's not what we agreed. I said, yeah, you're right, Bob.
Yeah.
But yeah, now YouTube started to pay me, and I didn't even know that YouTube,
Right.
I didn't know that YouTube paid
Okay.
because I wasn't tracking it. But I turned my monetization on. Once you get 1,000 subscribers and a certain amount of watch time, I think it's 4,000 hours, 4,000 minutes, watch, something like that, YouTube will start to pay you. I had like $5,000 in YouTube that I didn't know how to get.
You didn't even get the money.
I know I did.
The accidental podcaster who has 4 figures sitting there and made 5 figures on an affiliate the first time you did it.
I had no idea.
Oh
That's
my
amazing.
God, that's a play.
Yeah.
That's a play. So that's why, hence, launch 1,000
Yes.
because there's so many ways you can make the money.
So many. My man Kev, he made, I think it was like $5,000 or $25,000, something like that, before he launched the podcast. Because I just told him, sell the fact that your podcast is about to launch. And if someone's getting an opportunity, okay, here's the play.
Here's the play.
All right, let's hear
Here's
this.
the play.
Let's
Zoom
hear
in.
this.
Before you launch the podcast, sell the fact that they can sponsor the podcast.
Right.
You just have to get them excited about the fact that this is going to be the biggest show in the world, and then they'll pay whatever. After you launch the podcast, it may be about numbers. So if you say, yo, I'm about to launch this podcast, I just did 20 episodes, and we're doing this nationwide launch, it's about to be crazy, and I want to put you in front of this whole audience.
Right.
Right now, we're just selling the potential.
Right.
When you launch it, now people might see your videos and say, oh, you got 100 views. Okay,
Right.
now I'm getting in front of 100, but you can paint the picture. So
Right.
my man Darnell Self, I know he made like $25,000 because he offered $100 advertising for each episode for the next year.
Wow.
So $5,200 up front, and you get to advertise. But he lost on that deal.
Yeah, he lost big time.
'Cause he blew it up.
Yeah,
But-
it's too many episodes, and you've got all of this thing. That's a lot.
But he had like 10 people give him.
Yeah. So if you got, if you got 50,000, you got to make it shake.
And
Well,
also,
there are people
oh,
that have been podcasting for years that haven't made a dime off podcasting simply because they just don't know. And that is where I come into play. And I've been screaming the fact that these social platforms have to start paying these influencers. They have to.
Right.
Because if I'm Mark Zuckerberg
Right.
and you're producing content
Right.
and your audience likes the content,
Right.
they're going to stay on to watch you. So I'm going to pay you to stay there
Right.
to keep my audience warm.
Right.
Every platform is doing it now. I've been telling people for years this is happening. So just get good at creating content and building an audience because people pay to get in front of the audience.
People pay to get in front of the audience.
Facts.
I guess our rate just went up. Thank you.
and
so
that's
I love
one
that.
thing that I really, really like is that, so guys, listen, all you guys out there that are watching this, right? This man can literally teach you and put you on how to create your own podcast. Because still, even for us, we learn from the best.
Let me get another
Period.
one more.
One more play.
Please,
One more play.
please.
So for the podcast, YouTube, people can see the numbers. They can see how many views you're getting on your podcast. The audio side, they can't. There's nowhere where you can see, oh, that episode got 1,000 downloads or 5 downloads.
Right.
Most people that are gonna sponsor a podcast, they're not even gonna ask you what your numbers are. They just know the fact that they need to sponsor a podcast. If the number you give them sounds right, they'll sponsor because they don't even know how to calculate.
They can't even measure the audio
and
piece.
They don't, how do you measure it?
Right.
It's just based on me telling you that you're gonna get in front of this audience.
Right. So for your podcast specifically, that was one of the reasons that we decided to do something big and visual, because I listen to other podcasts, but your podcast, I watch. I watch it. I listen to it in the background, and I'm like, it's always because it's so bright, it's so crisp, it's so clean, and you always have amazing guests who give out great information, but it's engaging, and that's what I like about it. We're gonna do one, and we talked about this before we started shooting. I said, let me be clear. We want ours to look like a television show because we want to show you for the rock star you are. Like you are a bona fide rock star, and I'm not just saying that. Like I told you last year, I said it. I said you are in your zone. I said it's over from here. When you landed Grant Cardone, I said it's over from here for you. Over. And you see this rolling?
Oh, I see it. And the thing is this, and David, now, see, this is what I really want to chime into, because like I said, there's so many people out there that are starting podcasts, but I think that they really need to learn from a person like yourself, because even me just sitting here listening to you, you said a few different things. You said, hey, you know, these people aren't even monetizing this. These people aren't even using YouTube. These people aren't, the visuals, the audio, people aren't even, so the thing is that they need to know like what you got going on and how you're putting, I think, was it 1,000?
1,000. He's got,
podcasters?
yeah, what's the next
Might be
play?
over that. I don't know, but,
please talk about that. Share that with the audience.
Yeah, so I do a few things in the podcast space. One is I launch your podcast challenge. So you go to launchyourpodcastchallenge.com. If I have one coming up, you'll be able to do it. If not, you'll join the wait list and you'll be notified for the next one. But it's like a 5-day experience where I'm teaching how to podcast. I also have a podcast ebook. It's like 21 things that you need. 21 things.
We bought it.
That you need.
Yeah, we got it.
I better tap
Those things will help you launch your podcast. The podcast ebook is $37.
Yeah, but it was one of the best investments outside the class. Because there were still some things that we were like, oh, we missed that little piece of it. But I want you to really tell them the big thing that you have going on, because that's a big play for someone in your space. Well,
you got so many.
The space.
Oh yeah.
The content creation space.
Yes. So I have a content creation studio now, but I'm building a podcasting studio. Now, I took a lot of the money that I made last year and dumped it into one. I bought the building, and it was literally 4 walls, concrete floor, nothing there. And now it's like we have 4 podcast studios. One's my studio. The other 3 are podcast studios, and we have an event space where you can kind of do a stage and show, not as big and illustrious as this, but it's like...
But a stage and show nonetheless.
Sure, 100%.
Right.
And my objective is to help as many people launch their podcasts, but also I'll be launching my podcast network.
Oh, cool beans.
All the game. I can teach you how to launch so I'll teach you how to launch this podcast and how to monetize and all that kind of stuff. You go out and be great, which is amazing.
Right.
But I want to be able to help a certain group of people that I think have something special. And it's like a record label for podcasts.
Right.
Oh,
that makes
a record
sense.
label
Oh,
for
that's
podcasts.
dope. That's a play.
Yeah.
That's a
Think
play.
about Rockefeller
That's
chains
a
and stuff like that.
play.
Yeah. Social proof
chain.
channel. I love that. Oh, David,
That's amazing.
That's amazing. It brings tears to my eyes to see this, but I'm so excited for you. I'm so happy that you come from a place of service, and you can tell because you always serve your audience. That morning meetup, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, learning from entrepreneurs, every book. I mean, you're making people read who haven't picked up a book since 8th grade. Including himself.
Yeah.
So
it's been amazing to watch. So just a couple things before you leave. Is there something that we should have asked you that we didn't?
I do want to stress, you really want to focus on the audio side of the podcast.
Yeah.
Okay, the video side is great. It looks really, really good. But if you're gonna be in people's ear while they're working out, while they're driving, all that kind of stuff, and that audience is actually more valuable to corporations, the audio side. Because they know, like, while you're doing stuff, it's uninterrupted, and I'm in your ear. So
Right.
Be really focused on that, and I don't know, man. There's a lot
Right.
to this, but what really created some massive success for me is really locking in and focusing
Right.
on this podcasting space and my morning meetup. So I got a bunch of businesses going on. I actually had to shut some of them down
Right.
because there's opportunity cost. When you can, if you shut down a 6-figure business to make 7 figures, shutting that, like losing that stream of income feels bad. It hurts.
Right.
But when you got a greater vision,
Right.
you got to do what you got to do because you only have a certain amount of time, energy, team,
Right. Bandwidth.
bandwidth. So just focus. Focus is the number one thing I can teach anybody. Is just
Yeah.
focus, lock in on something, and track how it's going.
And then track in, lock in, buy new whips, buy rollies,
Nah.
he's so humble.
Oh, he is.
He's
Guys, so
he's
listen.
so humble.
All right, so the people, I know they want to get a hold of you, brother. Like, I know that they want to contact you. I know they want to get a hold of you to even get the advice, get the mentorship, to get the course with the podcasting. How do they get a hold of you?
They can text me, 404-737-4935. Go to podcastebook.com, you get the ebook, and then after that, you'll see an opportunity to buy the course. The course is really, really helpful, but I want to give people a chance to kind of usher themselves into the podcast space. Let's see if you want to do these 20 things. You might not want to.
Right.
But so 404-737-4935. Shoot me a text. Find me on Instagram at sleepisforsuckers with the number 4. And subscribe to the Social Proof Podcast. Social Proof Podcast on all streaming platforms.
And join the morning meetup.
Right now.
Join the morning
Please,
meetup.
meet it.
Join the morning meetup. It is one of the best investments you'll ever make. I enjoy it. I tell all of my coaching clients, get on that, because I can't talk to you every day, but you can be here with a group of entrepreneurs and you guys can cheer each other along. So I love what you do. Thank you. Thank you.
Honored
Thank
to
you.
have you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Amazing information. Seriously, have
You've
mercy.
been great. Thank you, David, for president.
Thanks for having me.
President of podcasting.
How
You
about
guys, you guys make sure you follow Sleep is for Suckers. You will not be disappointed.
Right now.